$100,000, as I understand, is going to come out of their individual owners' funds and so forth. I have a court case here. It's too bad Jeanette's not here today. From 2000, and it's called Key Citizens for Responsible Government versus the Florida Keys Aqueduct. They used a sewer revenue bond, series of sewer revenue bonds to help finance this sort of thing. I could say I'm taking out petty cash out of the county, but that might be fall a little heavily on some people. I don't really have a dog in this fight, thank you. I don't really have a dog in this fight. I'm up on Court 3 Circle next in the Oak Hollow property owners. I do have a canal next to me, and I used to be on the board of directors and on the environmental committee. I do know that in studying that sort of thing and being a property manager, that septic systems, for example, if they're nice and new and kept up and so forth, yes, they work just fine. Sewer systems, the same thing. I've read studies in here that say that in Ohio, for example, back in 1984, there was a court ruling there that inherently septic systems, Ohio Supreme Court, are inherently more dangerous to public health than the sanitary sewage systems must be replaced when possible. I suppose that's something of a matter of opinion. If I keep up my home that's now 30 years old, I spend a lot of money replacing things, keeping the air conditioning working, replacing stuff with things like that. Over a period of time, it takes money to keep that thing in somewhat decent condition. It was brand new piece of cake. That's easy to do. On the other hand, the septic systems, any kind of system that leaches anything into the soil, obviously, can pose a problem. I live next to a canal. And living next to a canal, I've learned that in some condos, for example, they just go out and take oil, for example, that they drain out of a car and dump it into the ground. I talked to the state about that. And they said, no, we don't like things like that happening. It leaches into the canals, it leaches in, and it affects the life in there, the fish and so forth. Now, with that in mind, I noticed too that there's, and I'm not sure, I get the impression that this is, kind of a matter of choice here for some. And I have a law here that I found the other night, 381.00655. The owner of a property owning functioning on-site sewage treatment and disposal must connect to the system of the building's plumbing to an available publicly owned or investor-owned sewage system within 365 days. So I'm kind of, confused here at the moment, not having researched this enough yet, about the problem here. I realize this is a lonely job for you. I was on my board 3 or 4 times before, having made decisions on that board that affect people, including their fines and what they're going to pay for assessments. It's not always a very pleasant thing to do. So with that in mind here, I can see both sides of the argument on this, and I can see people wanting to keep their sewer systems that have had for a long time. Many people have had them for many years, and septic systems have a long history, both in this country and in other countries where they began. We didn't have any septic system not too many years ago. So in this case, to stretch it out, have a decently run sewage system, and be able to keep it up, if they can keep it up and keep it running well, might be a plus. If I had a choice right now between having to spend all the money out to keep my home up, for example, and tie into one that's paid for by someone else, I think the decision would be too difficult. So for me, if I had to keep a septic system going for years and put it in and keep it up, I think I might opt for a sewage system that someone else is going to pay for and keep that thing going for me, if they do a decent job at doing that. So, as I say, one of my issues here at the moment is the cash system. If it is at all possible, as I'm understanding it, to be able to use bonds to do this sort of thing, revenue bonds, might be a better idea than what seems to be taken out of the residents themselves. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, Susan Hutt. Susan Hutt. Again, you'll have 5 minutes. Good evening.
Good evening. Who pays the portion of the MSVU that is not covered by the ratepayers or the taxpayers in the designated areas? Looking back to the Spring Lake sewers and lessons learned, will this MSVU document for our sewers include a clause to bar the price from increasing? You did not include that in the Spring Lake sewers. I would like a guarantee if we're going to be stuck with these things and stuck with your $575 a year for 20 years, I would like a guarantee that it's not going to go up. My income doesn't go up. I'm sure 4 of you remember that the people's objection to what we referred to as the blank check clause in the Spring Lake Sewer MSBU. The blank check clause is what we referred to as the means that the Spring Lake Sewers could increase the amount of the MSBU if they so chose. That is still in effect in the MSBU. I don't want to have a blank check clause for the government to be able to come back to my pockets if you decide that you need more money for the sewers, or if something should go wrong with them and you need more money and you're going to take it all from us. Please show your concern for our financial situations and include a clause in this resolution stating that our cost will not go over $11,500 for the 20-year period. Give us that modicum of assurance, please. I recall Spring Lake taxpayers were also offered a cash discount if they made a reduced lump sum payment of $7,000. I think it was 90-some residents paid the $7,000 fee if that was allowed to be implemented. As I recall, somebody discovered, oh, oops, the MSBU people all have to pay the same amount. So I'm not certain what ended up really happening with that. But I haven't seen an option for that for us Ackerman taxpayers. Why not? I recall a video about the Spring Lake taxpayers getting the cheapest sewers ever. I recall Director Terry Kuchar saying that the project of the utility department, all their projects always came in under budget. I almost choke. Surely those of you who voted for the Spring Lake sewers can remember how the cost of the project was fluid instead of fixed. Started out, it was going to be a $10 million project. It climbed to $13 million, $17 million, $27 million. The last figure I recall hearing about the cost was that the cost was $36 million. I doubt that was the end. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I doubt any of you will want to admit that the total cost of Spring Lake sewers went up and up and up. Your hearts may have been in the right place, but you couldn't control the total project cost. Do you have a solid cost estimate for the Ackerman Sewer project at this time? If not, you shouldn't tie us to something that you're not sure about. And I urge you to approve a revision of the MSBU document tonight, if you're going to pass it, to never increase the $11,500 fee. Put something in it that fixes it. You don't have plans ready yet, 90% of the plans for the Ackerman area, but the rest of the plans aren't ready yet. How do you know how much it's going to cost you? You're guessing. They're guesstimates, and they are not estimates at this point in time. You have no bids. I remember the shock when the first bids came in for some other projects in the county, and projects had to be revised. On another topic, has the statute been altered regarding the aerobic septic systems? Are people going to be allowed to keep their aerobic systems? And if they have to, why are they going to be required to remove them? Apparently you want them to remove them, but why are you giving them an extra hardship over removing their septics, and you're going to crush our tanks for us? Why is it that Charlotte County is allowing 2 new subdivisions to be built with septic systems, but we have to pay the utility departments to destroy ours and maintain sewers? This doesn't seem to be equitable to the citizens. I have a whole lot more I could say. You've heard it all before. These were the new things. Thank you.
Thank you. Stand. You will have 5 minutes, sir.
Good evening. I think I stood basically here 5 years ago, and I started out with a bunch of tax certificates in my hand and said, why aren't you genuine with these people and say it's all about money, utilities, deficit, and debt? Okay, I heard Terry Kuchar give a presentation where 25% of a pie chart was going to interest on the debt to utilities that the previous commission back in the 90s bought. This is very offensive to me. Be honest. We have a problem. Don't lay it off on DEP and a manufactured agreement with the Manchester Lock and Acton Waterway. 5 years ago, I defied you, the county, to prove to me that my septic system is polluting the canal across the street. Why did I do that? I've had it pumped 3 times in 15 years. I'm a 20-year resident. The last 2 times it was pumped, it was certified functional fine, and it didn't need pumping per the pumper. Okay? This is, and that's 2 different pumpers. This is ludicrous. On top of that, do I sound incensed? I am. I believe you, the county, the government, is affecting my constitutional right. You are going to charge me to crush and destroy my personal property that was licensed, platted by State Health Department back in '91 when the house was built. You're going to destroy it and then force me to pay to hook up to a sewer system that I don't want nor need. We are in a very underutilized area. Okay? A 3-bedroom, 2-bath pool home with 2 people. We have neighbors that are snowbirds, Canucks, Canadians, Europeans. They're not here but 3, 4 months a year, maybe. They're not even in rental programs. This is obscene, what you're doing. Why didn't you put this thing to a vote initially? On West Spring Lake, you did. You put out cards. My wife, Susan Hutt, went and photographed the results because nobody wanted to publish it. It was anti-sewer, pro-septic. And if you look at the numbers of malfunctioning septic tanks, it was very, very small. Very small. Why don't you go and enforce septic inspection and mandatory pumping per state health code across all septic systems? And guess what? Before you implement the sewer, go measure what your pollution level is, because I have not seen any figures that make any sense or any metrics that can support your abusive waste of my money, okay? My money, their money, people's money, to put in something they don't want nor need. Well, what is the constitutional right you have to mandate me to destroy my personal property and then tax me? And it's a tax. This is all about money. Why don't you be honest? Go out and say, hey, our utility is mismanaged and
You have a minute.
beyond repair financially, okay? Unless you just implemented 3 years, 7% compound. And I guarantee you when that 3 years is up, you guys, I know you're gonna vote 5%, 5%. Add that up, okay? Over a water bill, okay? Now you're gonna put in a sewer system and charge me 5,000 gallons in and 5,000 gallons out plus a MACE fee. You're gonna double plus my water bill. You are not honest with your constituency and the taxpayer. Thank you very much.
Hey, okay.
Next speaker is John Surkan. And you will have 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, I don't know whether you'll pay much attention to me because I believe I went to a meeting 4 or 5 years ago downtown somewhere talking about the same subject, and I'm going to tell you some of the same things over again, and I agree with almost every speaker that's been here tonight. But then, who knows, I'm just a Canadian immigrant that's been here about 25 years, so I cannot count much. Anyhow, the first speaker stole my thunder. And it'll shorten it up a little, I hope I don't go over. And anyhow, the agriculture is the main polluter